call this meeting of the Alvin Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Chapter Code Chapter 551. Will you please all rise as Trustee Pickren leads us in the pledges and invocation?
Thank you, Lord God, for the honor and the privilege to serve you, Father. Thank you, Lord God, for giving us the wisdom and the compassion and the knowledge to lead, Father. And thank you, Lord God, for our administrators and our teachers and our paras, and most of all for our children. Lord God, give us the wisdom to make the right decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
What? It's not 8 a.m.
Okay. Mr. Combs, we'll turn the time over to you. Sorry, Dr. Combs, we'll turn the time over to you for commendations.
Thank you so much. We are excited about our greeters this evening. There was a lot of excitement in the hall as many of you came in. I'm confident that you were adequately greeted by this crew tonight. And so we are excited to have some of our students from a number of unique programs that have been designed to meet the individual needs of our students. So with us, we have programs that fall under the umbrella of advanced academics. We have students from the WINGS program, as well as the STEM program, and also high school students from AP Capstone. And I think we have a few students with us that are prepared to share a few words about their experience. So do we have some students from WINGS that are ready to come on, guys?
Hello, my name is Neil. I'm here to talk to you about the Wings Academy at Pomona Elementary. Wings Academy is fun because we have opportunities to participate in activities like STEAMworks. It's a place where you can learn a lot. We study engineering and weather. You learn about clouds and parachutes. On the parachute project, we made a parachute and we tested it. Wings Academy is such a wonderful place to be. Thank you for making this possible. Hello, my name is Neem and I am a student at Wings Academy. Wings Academy is the best learning place because it is challenging and grows our brains. We read literature like Percy Jackson and do a double entry journal. The journal is where we put some interesting language that helps us to understand the meaning of the book in a deeper way. Thank you for allowing us to have such a wonderful classroom where we can grow and learn at our own pace.
Hi, my name is Azoria. Wings Academy is a program for gifted and talented kids like us. We get to participate in lots of experiments outside and inside the classroom that are challenging. It is the best learning place for me because everyone is kind, engaged, and thinks like me. We all love Wings Academy. Thank you for making such a wonderful place for me to grow and learn possible.
Next, we have a few students from the STEM Academy that are coming forward to share about their experience as well.
Hi, I'm Anthony from Merriman. I'm a 7th grader in STEM Academy. STEM is amazing and challenging. My favorite part of STEM is how I get to collaborate with others to create amazing projects. In humanities class, I was learning about Pakistan and problems people there face. My group's task in STEM was to design a robot that would help with one of those problems. We were able to use our creativity and engineering to try and solve that problem. Thank you for providing this program for us. It challenges our brains. STEM Academy is the best learning thing I've ever been a part of. Thanks.
My name is Alu Tomi Do. I'm a 7th grader and I love STEM. It is the most challenging program I've been in throughout my years in school. My favorite part of STEM is when we get to program our builds. Usually when I program, I make mistakes and I have to go back and look carefully to find the errors. This has taught me that it's okay not to be perfect and to work for improvement. After a lot of hard work, I am successful and my program controls my robot the way that I want it to. Thank you for the STEM Academy. It challenges me and I really enjoy it.
Hello, my name is Micah Windsor and I'm a 6th grade STEM Academy student. One of my favorite things about STEM is that it has a challenging curriculum where the student is involved in creating solutions and problem solving. I know what it's like to be bored in a class and just listening to the teacher tell me things I already know. STEM was my salvation. If it weren't for STEM, I would have had to wait until I was older to actually get involved in what I'm being taught now. All in all, I'm just thankful that STEM was created.
And now we have a few students from AP Capstone.
Hello, my name is Aga Kune.
My name is Evelyn Kai, and we are both seniors at Shadow Creek High School. So AP Capstone is a program that allows us to improve our writing, and through it, we learn how to write at a collegiate level. So in AP Seminar, my writing skills went from that of a basic, high school freshman to that of a college freshman, and I learned how to incorporate credible sources in my writing.
And the second year course was AP Research, which we just completed last year. And the first part of AP Research is mainly comprised of us finding what our research is going to be. And so we look through a variety of sources and academic journals to find out what we want to focus on for the entire year. And so personally, I wanted to focus on something very relatable to myself. And so I focused on cultural violence in Nigeria, where I'm from. And so most of my research was focused on literary criticisms, and I analyzed the 2 books to come to my conclusion. And at the end of the research, we actually did a 20-minute presentation and basically compiled our research into a 5,000-word essay.
My research was on Confucianism, impact on bicultural adolescents. So like Aga, that is a topic that directly impacts me. And so I was very passionate about my research. And after I had collected my research from about 130 or so participants, I needed to analyze my data through SPSS, this program for statistical analysis. And I couldn't find it at all. So I spent about 1 or 2 weeks looking around for it. And finally, I mentioned it to my mom, and I found out that she actually does research. So although that was very helpful. So although my writing skills did improve a lot more through research and I conducted authentic research, I also found a very valuable resource in my own mother. All right, thank you.
I tell you what, the future looks bright in Alvin ISD, does it not? Let's invite all these incredible students forward. Thank you so much for being here with us. We'd like to get a picture, so y'all come on down if you don't mind. We want to take your picture. If y'all will walk up here to the center. Thank y'all for being our special guests and our greeters this evening. And also teachers, instructors, and folks from advanced academics, y'all come on down with them as well to be in the photo. We'd like to have y'all, and moms and dads and proud grandparents. We will wait to make sure you get the perfect photo this evening, so don't be shy. Feel free to come forward. Y'all step forward. We're going to have the adults stand behind you.
Miss Flowers is here. Miss Flowers is here. Does she need to be in Miss Rides?
Oh, absolutely. Principal Flowers, will you come be in the photo as well? You hosted the... come on down. Come on down. Yeah. Principal Flowers, you've done a wonderful job supporting this program. It was warm-up day at school. Is Principal Rives here? She was in the hallway. Okay, Principal Rives, we will wait for Principal Rives. Principal Rives, you have to get in the photo as well. Come on, come on. All right, congratulations to each of our students. We are excited for all of your future success. Thank y'all.
I know, right? I think this appeased him, getting to have a photo taken. Yeah. He was very distraught. I know.
And now we will move into the commendation section of the evening. Many of you know that on October 6th, Alvin ISD had an opportunity to showcase the talents of our students at the TASB convention in Dallas. We had a number of students, a large group of students, supported by directors and teachers that had a chance to showcase their fine arts abilities. And what was incredible about what our students did that day, not only did they showcase their talents, but they also shared a powerful and compelling message with just about every trustee from across the state, as well as just about every superintendent across the state. And they spoke to the power of meeting the individual needs of students in school. And so they left that compelling call to action for all of us. And so we want to celebrate them tonight for their accomplishments. So first we will start with the student performers from Alvin High School. If we have Brennan Dahl. Louis Meza. Emily Joseph. Taylor Tywater. Mackenzie Savage. And we have a group of Jacketeers that were instrumental in the production as well. They happened to have a conflict this evening, and we gave them a pass since they were performing at the Houston Rockets game this evening. So we will have them back on Saturday to celebrate them. Next month. I'm not sure. I thought I was receiving a message from up there, and my attention went. We will not have them back on Saturday. We'll have them back in December. I'm not sure what happened, but we're gonna move forward. Okay.
Renee, bring him up to me.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
You want him to talk.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. How are you, sir?
Good.
Tell us what your name is.
My name is Nolan.
Norwood?
Nolan.
Nolan. Okay, Nolan. All right, Nolan. Nice to meet you. What would you like to share with us?
Well, first of all, in a Wings Academy, I understand that my first grade class has been perfect for me in my life. And my Wings Academy had so much of it. Any questions? All right, everyone. I had enough. Everyone. All right, everyone. Finish.
Thank you so much. Can you shake my hand? Nolan, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. We're so proud to have you as a part of this evening. Okay, so the Jacketeers will be back in December. So just to clarify, not Saturday. Thank you for the point of clarification. Okay, so from Manville High School, we have Gabby Hastings. Ben Berryman. Elijah Judkins. Adrian Hasso. Michael Lombardi. Ethan Marfill. Kyla Singleton. And Evan Reed. From Shadow Creek High School, we have Freya Pimentuan. Lauren Green. Josh Villanueva. Milo Vasquez. Glidell Obate. Tina Duong. And Patricia Mayoral. And we had a number of elementary students as well in the production. And so from Hoodcase Elementary, we would like to welcome Haven Marcel. From Alvin Elementary, we have Kate Wilds. From Hassey Elementary, we have Haley King. Also from Hassey, Stare Moctezuma. And from Hassey, Aiden Zamora. From Mark Twain Elementary, we have Grant Carbine. And from Passmore Elementary, we have Trey Reed Harrison. And there were a number of adults and directors and sponsors and teachers that made this performance possible. So if they are here with us, we'd like to invite them forward as well. From Shadow Creek High School, head theater director David Seward. From Manville High School Theater, Leah Short. Manville High School Choir, Blythe Hopkins. Manville High School Choir, Kevin Schultz. We've heard that Eve Robinson with the Jacketeers is at the Rockets game and will be back with us in December. Okay, from the elementary musical and the head director, we have Lauren Summy from Passmore. From Hassey Elementary with elementary music, we have Jane Rabelais. The percussion director, we have Lou Baldraghini. And a few other folks that help make this possible. Our fine arts director in Alvin ISD, Dustin Winson. Assistant director, Lisa Savage. Vocal specialist, Brenda Music. And the secretary of fine arts, who brought everything together, as you know, is Mrs. Stephanie Lorette. So can we give them a big round of applause? Okay, so we're going to have to get y'all in to take this perfect photo. So let's see if I can have y'all come out over this way, out in the front. We saw you perform. We know y'all are not shy. This is not a shy group right here. Okay. Y'all come in. Now, as we get the perfect photo, I will tell you their performance was incredible. The message was even more powerful. And it is available, if you'd like to watch it, on Alvin ISD's YouTube channel, which you can find a link to off the homepage, alvinisd.net. And it is definitely worth 20 minutes or so to take a look at the incredible talents of these students that we have with us tonight. Keep those smiles going, guys. We're going to get the perfect photo. All right, congratulations. Thank you again for all you did. We have a special staff commendation. Coach De La Paz, are you with us this evening? He may not have been able to be here tonight, but just so that y'all know, he was recognized by the Houston Texans as the Houston Hero of the Week. And he was recognized for all that he and then his students did in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey to provide relief efforts to the community. So we are extremely proud of him, and we will express the board's commendation to him. We have another special group this evening that we would like to recognize. This is the Future Administrators Academy from Alvin ISD. They went through a year-long series of kind of coursework and study and growth opportunities together, and they went through as a cohort. The Future Administrators Academy provides an opportunity for them to talk about scenarios and experience real-world scenarios that confront educational leaders every day. So we'd like to welcome them to the front to celebrate the completion of this course. First, we have Latoya Alexander. And Patrice Baker. Brooke Chang. Trace Davis. Corey De Felice. Sherry Dominique. Danica Garza. Randall Geikema. Amy Hassey Davison. Kelly Hudson. Christina Kennard. Kyle Kettler. Joanne Light. Tanisha Owens. Jason Riley. Adriana Sanchez Cantu. David Soward. Randy Teal. Amber Urban. Christopher Wells. And we might as well give him a plug as well. Alvin ISD Teacher of the Year, Christopher Wells. Rhonda Wilson. And John Yancey. So this cohort was facilitated by a number of folks. Of course, Lisa Burns, Director of Professional Learning for Alvin ISD, was instrumental in this process, as was a gentleman that's standing in the back of the room, Dr. Adrian Johnson, who helped facilitate and to grow these folks as educators and leaders. So we would like to invite them both to come forward to be in the photo as well. We'll wait for your moms and dads and grandparents just to get the best photo as well this evening. So. All right, thank you so much to the group, and congratulations.
Good job, guys.
Those are our commendations for the evening. We'll
Thank
see you on
very much.
Saturday.
Yes. Be here early.
Here, we'll meet you, 7 o'clock.
Daniel, bring a donut.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay, we have a number of presentations on the agenda. First, we will hear our enrollment projections from Templeton Demographics.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President, members of the board, Superintendent Gilchrist. I literally get to do 20 to 30 school board meetings a year, and this is always one that I look forward to because I'm always going to have a memory of something to tell my wife, who is a teacher in education, and I can't wait to tell her about Nolan. A couple of years ago, it was the high school diploma to the World War II veteran. That was a story that I shared with, the neat things that I get to see when I come. So I always do truly look forward to getting to come to Alvin ISD. Tonight, I will briefly touch on the economic conditions that are affecting the greater Houston area. We're going to spend a good bit of time talking about the housing market, and then we'll talk about the enrollment projections. Well, we have seen a little bit of an improvement. It may not seem like much of an improvement, but our job growth in the Houston area is up to 1.1%. Just a couple of years ago, it was almost non-existent. So it was, flat to zero job growth. Now we're up to 1.1%, which is about 34,000 jobs being created. So we are seeing a little bit of a lifting in the employment situation. In fact, just up the road in Pearland, the Pearland part of the economy is seeing some significant job growth on that Kirby Lane, just off of the the Beltway. And so there's definitely some major things happening right in there that will contribute to new jobs that will impact the Alvin School District. It's physically located in the city of Pearland. I think it's Houston ISD. It's not in Pearland ISD, but that location is such that it will benefit this area as well. So we are seeing some good job growth news in this area. Unemployment rates, the U.S. unemployment rate's at 4.1, Texas is at 4.0, the Houston MSA is at 4.8, the city of Alvin's at 5.5, and I saw that Pearland number. The Pearland number is actually below 4%. So the Pearland portion of the unemployment rate is also faring very well. The housing market is increasing, but we've got a mixed story on the housing market. Because of the effects of Harvey, about 30 to 40,000 homes were majorly impacted from the Harvey storm. About 100,000 homes were damaged, but 30 to 40,000 of those homes were significantly damaged. That's already kind of creating an environment to where materials are going to become more expensive, labor is going to be in a little bit more shorter supply with the massive amount of renovation and remodeling that's going to be required. So it's going to continue to put upward pressure on the cost of new housing. So that's kind of a little bit of a challenge to an already challenged housing market. So, but the housing is going up. We saw an increase in new home starts. We're up to about 27,700 annual starts across the greater Houston area. Here's just some of the bullets on the Harvey impact. I touched on these a little bit earlier. 30 to 40,000 homes estimated to have been destroyed. About 100,000 homes have been affected by the hurricane. I'll go to the recovery investment is estimated to be at $150 to $180 billion. How long is this going to take to get some of this recovery firmly established? This literally is a multi-year event. It could be 5 to 7 years before we really get recovery from the damage that was done. Now, fortunately, Alvin didn't experience a tremendous amount of that damage. The majority of that damage was found in Port Arthur, Galveston, Dickinson, Port Aransas, League City. Those areas fared much worse. We are familiar with Dickinson ISD, and they had a tremendous amount of lost homes. So the home damage was not quite as great here, but it definitely did have an impact here as well. Year to date, deed transactions for both new and existing homes, we have sold between January and October new and existing homes, 2,120 home sales in 2017, and about 38% of that was for new homes. So we're definitely on pace to continue to build well over 1,000 new homes in the Alvin School District. We're also seeing an increase in the prices. So the average sales price for a new home in 2017 is over $320,000, which just blows my mind that the value of homes is going up at such a rate. We've not seen this kind of inflation in home values in the last 30 to 50 years. It's really uncharted territory for the growth that we're seeing in the home values, home sales. The existing home sale average in 2017 is $244,000. Here's a graph and chart to kind of go with that data. Back in 2010, a new home sales price was $214,000, and today it's $323,000. We've had a 50% increase in the home sale value for new homes in that 7-year period, 50% gain in value. New homes or existing homes have gone up about 34%. In the greater Houston area, Alvin is currently ranked 7th in the Houston Metroplex based on annual closings. We started 1,390 homes in the last 12 months ending in the third quarter. We closed 1,332. We've got 1,859 vacant developed lots that are on the ground, ready for builders to build. We've got 15,000 futures. And there are several developments that are in the development process to deliver significant numbers of lots. So we know that that lot supply, that 1,859, that's a little tight. So that's a little short. Builders like to have about a 2-year supply of vacant developed lots. So you can see we've got less than a 2-year supply. So the development community is working very hard, and you can see it as you drive around the district, especially along the 288 highway, where the development is producing new lots that will come online this spring. Here's what we're seeing in the starts and closings by quarter. So far in 2017, we've already started over 1,000 homes. You can see we're well on pace to close more than 1,300 homes again in 2017. Here's a map of your current elementary attendance zones, and it's a thematic map based on annual closings. Those red elementary zones are closing more than 200 homes annually. The orange zones are closing between 101 and 200, and those yellow zones are closing between 1 and 100 homes per year. So that growth is still concentrated over on the west side of the school district. So it's the Meridiana zone, it's the Pomona zone. Those two zones are closing the most, but York is close behind, and then you've got Jeter that's also in that 100 to 200 annual closing range. Here's a map, a thematic map based on where the vacant developed lots are. We've also mapped out the top 10 subdivisions based on their vacant developed lots. You'll also notice there again the concentration is on the west side of the school district. Those red elementary zones have more than 500 vacant developed lots to build on. Those orange elementary zones have between 100 and 500, and those yellow zones have between 1 and 100 vacant developed lots. So there again, we do have lots available in Meridiana and in Pomona and in Sedona Lake. So those 3 zones have plenty of lots to keep the housing market going. And then the top 10 account for about 70 to 80% of all the activity can be found in these top 10 subdivisions. We do have Kendall Lakes in the Twain zone that does have about 109 vacant developed lots. I just got word today on the Massey Oaks situation. So I do know that that is an issue that's being worked between Pearland and the Alvin School District, and it is my understanding that this will likely be the boundary line, all of Massey Oaks will likely be included in the Alvin School District. That's my understanding that I got from Pearland ISD. Am I? So I have
a little
not.
later in the night, yeah.
I have not adjusted my data because it hadn't been acted upon yet. So, but I wanted to make it known that I was aware of the potential for the discussion. So right now, I'm still listing it as split between Pearland ISD and Alvin ISD. It's listed as a future, and that's why I bring it up, because it does show up on this map, and the Massey Oaks portion is approximately 650 future lots, but when we include the Pearland portion, it's much higher than that. You can see the futures. You've got about 13,000 futures listed in these top 10 neighborhoods, and those futures are primarily located in Meridiana and in Pomona. Here's what the housing data looks like when we look at all the new housing data based on your current elementary attendance zones. Pomona is building the most new homes. Annually, they're starting about 414. Meridiana is second with 328. And then Jeter is starting about 199, almost 200 homes. And then you've got York starting about 179. So those 4 zones are definitely seeing the most activity for new home starts. This is just a 30,000-foot view of the district. Those green outlined subdivisions, those are subdivisions that are active in building homes today. There's about 1,800 lots available for them to build on, but there's over 15,000 lots that are planned or future lots that will be coming to the district within the next few years. Of those futures, there's 800 lots that are under development that will be delivering within the next couple of months. Now, I'll just quickly go into some of the details about some of the most active subdivisions. Not going to touch all of them, but here's some of the highlights of the most active. Pomona is about 2,100 total lots. There were 81 homes under construction during the third quarter. They're building approximately 150 to 200 homes per year. That price range is $260,000 to $550,000. Currently, the yield is 0.53 students per house, but we do expect at build-out that there could be approximately 600 to 650 elementary students at build-out. Here's Lakes of Savannah. It's a 3,139 total lots that are within Alvin ISD. There were 71 homes under construction during the third quarter, building about 180 to 200 homes per year. There's an additional 365 future lots that are located within Fort Bend ISD. The current yield is 0.63 students per house. There's approximately going to be 1,000 total elementary students at build-out in Savannah Lakes. Newport Lakes Estates, 199 total lots. It's just north of Rodeo Palms Middle School. There were 12 homes under construction. We're expecting the first residents to arrive about the latter part of 2017 or early 2018. That price range is $250,000 to $400,000, and at build-out there'll be approximately 70 elementary students in the Newport Lake Estates. Yanni Palms, 376 future lots. The developer is in talks with the city of Manville. There have been no plats or plans submitted at this time, but we could see groundwork start sometime in 2018, pending the plat approval. At build-out, this would yield about 130 elementary students in Yanni Palms. Of course, Rodeo Palms, it's been on the ground for a while. It's about 1,465 total lots, 40 homes under construction, building about 180 to 200 homes per year. The current yield there is 0.74 students per house. At build-out, there would be approximately 540 total elementary students in Rodeo Palms. Sedona Lakes, 864 total lots, 34 homes under construction, building about 80 to 100 homes per year. That price range is $300,000 to $600,000. The yield there is 0.42 students per house, and at build-out, we could see approximately 225 total elementary students in Sedona Lakes. And then we've got Oak Crest of Manville. It's a manufactured housing area. There's 288 existing home sites. There's an additional 67 lots that should be released this past summer, so they should be adding homes there. The current yield at the Oak Crest of Manville is 57.57 students per house. Meridiana, very large master plan community of 5,501 total lots, 65 homes under construction. Their price range is $250 to $750, building approximately 180 to 200 homes annually. The current yield there is 0.59 students per house. At build out, there could be 1,900 elementary students. So that's multiple elementary students worth of homes in Meridiana. Sterling Lakes, this is where the new Sanchez Elementary School is located. About 4,682 total lots, 27 homes under construction. They're building about 150 to 180 homes in 2018. Sanchez Elementary is scheduled to be opened fall of 2019. Current yield there is 0.68 students per house. At build out for the entire community, that would be approximately 1,640 total elementary students. Lavaca Lakes, approximately 440 future lots. The preliminary plat was approved in November of 2016. Home building could start by late 2019 or early 2020. It's split between Meridiana and Mason Elementary Zone, approximately 150 elementary students at build out. Sierra Vista, 732 total lots. The first home starting in early 2018. At build out, there could be approximately 250 elementary students. Blue Water Lakes, 330 future lots. The groundwork is underway on sections 1 and 3 for 128 lots. It's Bizarre Homes, or Beezer Homes, I think. Approximately 80 total elementary students at build out. It's just to the west of Manville High School on Highway 6. Massey Oaks, this is the development that I referred to that there is likely to have an action that would keep all of that neighborhood together, and likely in the Alvin ISD. There's a total of 975 total lots on 365 acres. The property has been rezoned and annexed into the city of Pearland in July of 2017. And you can see the split there, but looks like that'll be cleaned up later tonight. Just two of the multifamily pieces that we're tracking that are in the Shadow Creek Ranch area. Of course, that number 1 highlighted area, Shadow Creek Ranch, number 6, has 340 units. It is under construction, should impact the district summer of 2018, and that's in the Wilder Elementary Zone. And then you've got South Fork Lake Apartments, closer to the Duke Elementary Zone, 329 units. It is complete and leasing. Currently, it has a student yield of 0.1 student per house. This just gives us an idea. We are tracking and measuring the yield analysis on single family and multifamily for all of your neighborhoods. This slide is illustrating what the yield is for those multifamily apartments. In Alvin ISD, we've got about 1,966 students that currently reside in about 6,663 units of apartments. So across the district, we have an average yield of 0.3 students per apartment complex. Those red apartment complexes are yielding greater than 0.75, and those orange complexes are yielding between 0.5 and 0.75. The yellow are 0.25 to 0.5, and then the green are yielding less than 0.25. So you can see what we're seeing across the district. We've really only got one complex that's yielding greater than 0.75, but those orange, those are yielding between 0.5 and 0.75, so that's a pretty significant number of students per unit in those complexes as well. What we typically see over time, and when I mention time, it can be 10 to 15 years down the road, we can see an increase in yields as apartments age. So when new apartments come online, then the folks that are moving to the apartments as a lifestyle choice will choose a newer apartment complex because of the amenities and the newness. And so then they can see an increase in yield as they age. But what we are also noticing in the Shadow Creek area, that many times we have families that use multifamily as a transition as they're building a home, they're living in multifamily while their home is being built. They will also use multifamily as they relocate into the area because of a job transfer. So multifamily is not just a one type for all types of families. You typically have many, it's not all lifestyle. Some of it is what I'm going to refer to as transition as they're preparing to either buy or build in the district. We're also tracking it by manufactured housing neighborhoods. So we've got about 1,585 students that reside in about 1,733 manufactured homes. And you'll notice we have a much higher yield out of the manufactured housing. So it's primarily due to its affordability. So manufactured housing is making a little bit of a comeback because of the increase in the rents of apartments and single family, the increased cost of single family. Manufactured housing is coming back, but it is a little bit harder to get new manufactured developments on the ground. And so we're not likely to see a surge of new manufactured communities, but what we did see was the add-on at that one that was already established. So that Oak Crest, I believe it was. These red manufacturing home neighborhoods, those red circles, they're yielding greater than one student per home. The orange are yielding between 0.75 to 1, and those yellow are yielding between 0.5 and 0.75. So you can see we have much higher yields out of the manufactured neighborhoods than we do out of typically the multifamily or the single family. Here's the enrollment projections. Had a little bit of a slowdown in terms of the growth. I would attribute a portion of that just to the timing of Harvey happened, right after school started. I mean, it was literally just the week after school started. So there was some unsettling to that period with multiple school districts closed for several weeks. And so your enrollment came in about 100 students under what we forecasted. So we actually forecasted that you would be in that just a little bit under 1,400 students of growth. But what I will tell you is you're growing all year long. So you're going to grow every month. So you are likely going to catch up to our forecast during the school year. We forecast to October. So October, the snapshot date, is the date and time that we are forecasting to. So I'm not alarmed that you came in under. I think it's the unsettledness of the Harvey. It's just going to be a timing issue of when you hit that mark. Now, what I'll also point out is don't focus, and I say this, I believe, every year, really focus on the 5 years, the next 5 years of the forecast. There's so much that can change in the latter half of a 10-year period that I would encourage you to focus on the next 5 years. And what you'll notice is in the next 5 years, you're likely going to add about 5,938 students. That'll put your enrollment in 2022 at 30,831. In 10 years, you could add about 10,000 students, and your enrollment in 2027 could exceed 35,000 students. Now, here's what it looks like at the campus level. Keep in mind, we're showing two columns for capacity. We've got the yellow is the permanent building capacity. The red is the maximum capacity utilizing portable buildings or flex space. And as you know, you've got 2 elementary schools that are going to be opening. You've got a middle school that's going to be opening. So these red numbers change pretty significantly as we get those new attendance zones established. So I'm not able to show you the effect of that because we don't have the attendance zones established. But as soon as the attendance zones get established, we will modify the outlook and show you the impact so you can see how you're improving the utilization of your buildings. But just so you can kind of see right now at the elementary level, we've got about 12,406 students at the elementary campuses. In 5 years, we'll have about 13,789 students. So growth of about 1,300 to 1,400 students in the next 5 years just at the elementary campuses. At your secondary campuses, now we've got junior high number 7 that will be opening fall of 2018. So those red areas will likely be relieved starting in 2018 with the opening of junior high number 7. At the high school level, Alvin High School is slightly over capacity, and it gets to about 3,000 students by 2020. And then, no, excuse me, I got those backwards. Alvin High School gets to 2,800 by 2020. Shadow Creek High School gets to 3,000 students by 2020. I'll summarize and go back and we can answer questions, have discussion. Alvin ISD had more than 1,300 new home closings in 2017. Median new home price within Alvin ISD is nearly $324,000. So we are seeing a significant increase in the price of new homes. That is having an impact on the yield. So the new homes are getting so expensive that it is creating a little bit less yield because the prices are going up. So you may have wondered, why is the forecast slowing down a little bit? Even though our housing is increasing, it has to do with the new home prices of what we're seeing. So should there be a tax credit change? Should there be a drop in prices? I don't see that happening because of the inflation on the cost because of materials and labor. It's a twofold problem. It's not just materials, it's also labor. So that's what's continuing to cause the prices to escalate. Both Brothers Elementary opened this fall with about 770 students, and Pomona Elementary opened with about 402 students. 5-year enrollment growth calls for about 5,938 additional students by the fall of 2022. 10-year enrollment growth of about 10,000 students by the fall of 2027. Be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
I just have a question on the Savannah Lakes, and maybe I missed it. Did you have the numbers separated between Fort Bend ISD and Alvin ISD?
Yes, I believe so. Lakes of Savannah, yes. Slide 14. About 365 lots are located in Fort Bend.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. That was
You're welcome.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Always
it.
a pleasure.
As always, wow.
That's amazing. Okay. Next, we will have a presentation regarding our financial audit of 2016-17, and we'll turn the time over to Weaver Financial and Cheryl Ryan. Just Weaver Financial.
Thank you. Glad to be here tonight to present to you your annual financial report. I had the opportunity last week to speak to the audit committee with the superintendent and Jimmy and Cheryl both attending, and your school board president and vice president. We went over the audit report in great detail. So I know you all had a copy of your audit reports in your packet. So tonight, as I go through the PowerPoint that is just a brief summary of your annual financial report, and I know the citizens know that your audit report will be on your internet website. And if they look last year, you received a Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from ASBO and GFOA. And this year's report will also be submitted to GFOA and ASBO. So kudos to them for that. Looking at the annual financial report, the very first schedule, your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the general fund. And the general fund accounts for the general operations of the school districts. And that was on page 38 of your CAFR. You had total revenues of $234 million. And you can see your local revenues, which is primarily your property taxes, of $90 million. Your state program revenues, $141 million. And then the federal, $2 million in the general fund. Your total expenditures were $239 million, for an excess of expenditures of $4.8 million, which reduced your beginning fund balance from $51 million to $46 million, and the district still has greater than the 2 months of annualized expenditures in the general fund. The general fund highlights are that although you decreased your fund balance of $4.8 million, which was primarily from the increases in instruction and related expenses, you increased total revenues $34.1 million, primarily resulting from the increase in state funding and the increase from the reclass of the TERS collections. Also, in looking at expenditures in the general fund, your general administrative expenditures were 2.4% of total expenditures, which is less than your state average of 3%. On the next page is your statement of revenues and expenditures for changes in fund balance of the debt service fund, and the debt service fund collects property taxes for the payment of the principal and interest on general obligation bonds, had total revenues of $45.9 million, expenditures of $43.5 million. You had other financing sources and uses because you refunded some bonds, issued some new bonds to pay off some older bonds to get better interest rates to save the district money. And so that was $44 million worth of refunding bonds, and they sold at a premium of $15 million. And then that payment to the escrow to refund those old bonds of $59. So overall, the debt service fund had a $3.1 million increase, which brought fund balance from the $15.9 to the $19 million. The next fund on page 39 is the Capital Projects Fund, and it had total revenues of $1.9 million, which is primarily interest earnings. You had expenditures as outlined in your bond issues of $127 million, and you issued some new bonds this year of $123.6 million and a premium on those capital bonds of $3.7 million, for an overall increase of $2.2 million, which brought your beginning fund balance from $187.9 million to $190.1 million. And the Capital Projects Fund is basically the fund that accounts for the proceeds of those capital projects bonds for the bond issues that are outlined in those projects. This year's audit was a clean, unmodified opinion that's in page 17 of your CAFR. And it was that's the highest level of assurance that you can receive on your financial statements, that the financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with GAAP, meaning that all the assets, all the liabilities, revenues, and expenditures are fairly stated, and that it includes all the note disclosures. Our audit was performed in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America, as well as the government auditing standards issued by the Comptroller General of the United States. We also, because the district receives more than $750,000 in federal funds, you are also required to have a federal single audit. And on the federal single audit, the program that we audited this year was the special ed cluster, which was the IDB formula, high cost in preschool. And you also received a clean, unmodified opinion on the federal programs. And I'd be glad to open it up for any questions. I know it's a brief summary, and I know you've all had an opportunity to receive your report, but I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have. And while you're thinking of a question, I just want to thank Cheryl and Jimmy. We come in at interim, and you get this nice package at your end, but there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. The school district, when you look at the CAFR and you look at just the general fund, debt service, and capital projects, and then all those special revenue funds, it's like keeping books for about more than 30 companies, and each one has a separate general ledger of what can be expended. And we ask for a lot of things and come in doing a lot of testing of expenditures and payrolls and biddings and et cetera, and state compliance requirements and federal program compliance. But I just want to thank them because they always are ready for us, and their courtesies that they extend to us. Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Cheryl.
Any questions from the board?
Can I make a few statements?
You may.
Okay. I also want to reiterate that our financial department here, Jimmy, Cheryl, I see Sonia, I see Liz, I see Robin. Who am I missing? That are here tonight. All these guys do an outstanding job of taking care of what happens on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's a great illustration when you say basically it's 30 different companies or more that they operate on a daily basis, and make sure all of that is taken care of and accounted for and expended wisely. And so I also do want to point out that the reduction in fund balance was also part of our capital projects that we have worked out of for fund balance. That included, out of this budget, included the swimming pool at Alvin High School that came out of this budget. If you'll remember that, the swimming pool was about $10 million of cost, and so out of fund balance was about 4.8 million was the difference out of that. And so again, they caught us up in other areas to help offset that. Additionally, from the finance end, and then from some of our other administrative ends, and I hear from these guys all the time about this, but I do think one of the most important figures in there is that we're at about 2.4% for administrative costs, 41. And so we talk about that the state average is about 3. You get to districts our size and greater, it's actually a little greater than 3 usually. It's somewhere around 3.1, 3.2%. So what does that calculate into? It calculates into about 25 positions that we are operating underneath at the administrative level, 25 positions that we would, and so we have people that double up on jobs and do several different things. And so we try to make sure that we keep those costs low so we can put that money in instruction. And I think you said that very clearly, that that was obviously our priority this year, was putting the money into instruction, into 19911, and make sure that we take care of our teachers and our kids in the classroom. So I want to say thank you again to all of our financial staff for a job well done. And thank you all. A great partner. Our auditors are great partners. And yes, they're here a couple times a year. They don't just show up, by the way, in case anybody doesn't know that, they don't show up on a Tuesday and type a report on Wednesday and out the door. They're here during the interim. By that means the middle of the fiscal year. And then they come back and close out the books at the end, and great partners with questions that we have throughout the entire year. And so anyway, good job. Just wanted to say all that to say good job. How's that? That was kind of long-winded, wasn't it?
Well done. It was perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And now we'll be pleased to hear from our advanced academics team, Jackie Cathy.
Thank you. With all that praise, I don't know if I can do this now. Good evening. I would like to start by saying it really takes a team to be able to put all of these programs into practice. And so I would like to introduce Patty Hammer. She's the elementary director. Wait, Patty. And Tracy Lee, she's my secondary director, and they're the ones that have to put up with all my crazy ideas, and I really thank you and appreciate them very much. So I would like to start with our GT program that begins in kindergarten. Kindergarten, we do screen all of the children, and then once we get them all screened, K through 5, we put them into cluster classes. And with cluster classes, we have a specialist on each campus who goes into those classes and works with differentiation with these teachers. And we have a pull-out model that the GT specialists, will come and they work on Latin and the Texas Performance Standard projects. And now we do have pre-AP 5th grade math at each elementary campus as well. And I just want to draw your attention to the cute little picture. This is the type of activities or that we strive for, this higher level thinking within these classrooms. This is from Stevenson Primary, and the 1st grade worked with penguins. They were looking or studying penguins, and so they worked with the scientists at the Antarctica. And this is actually their flag with their little handprints at the Antarctica, and all those little dots, you can't hardly see them very well, but those are penguins. So in order to do real world activities, that's the kind of things that we want to see in all of these classrooms, in our cluster classrooms. Then when we get to the middle school, we do believe in access for all children, so we have open door policy, where we encourage all of our students to try at least pre-AP at that point, because research shows that if they take higher level classes, then they will be successful in college. And then we also believe in all of our students being college and career ready. And these are some of our advanced programs at the high school. We have, of course, the College Board Advanced Placement Program, dual credit. They can earn a dual degree. And in CTE, we do have some advanced classes that are in the medical and in the STEM fields as well. You heard some of our students tonight. Gosh, I wish I had their energy. The Wings Academy, that's our elementary specialized program. We have the MAP and the STEM Academy, which is for the middle school, and we have the AP Capstone program for our highly gifted in the high school. Our Wings Academy, this is our first year for the Wings Academy, and there's only a handful of these schools in the state of Texas, so we're pretty proud to be able to start that this year. We started with first and second graders, and it is at Pomona Elementary. These students are 3 to 4 years ahead academically than their grade level, and so we do have an individual learning plan for each student. They are just amazing students. I hope you get the opportunity to go and see them one day if you haven't done so. They tell me their favorite things to do in first and second grade is algebra and diagramming sentences. So if you do go and visit them, be prepared to diagram a sentence.
No one will answer your questions.
Yes. And yes, yeah. Bless his heart, yes, he will. And one of the other things within all of these academies we really concentrate on is their social emotional needs as well. The STEM Academy is our academy at the middle school. It's at Rodeo Palms. We are in the second year now. This is an academy where we concentrate on the engineering and science, but they do take MAP Humanities. They also take the MAP progression in math from algebra to pre-AP geometry. And with a combination of the engineering and the science, these students work on robotics. They will get to aerial drones this year. And then next year as 8th graders, we incorporate rockets, rocketry, and they will take a college class called AP Computer Science Principles. And our AP Capstone program, I think the students really said it well. We were actually very fortunate to be one of the schools out of 100 to be chosen to put this into our district. And that's internationally, that's just not nationally, but all over the world. So we now have a model program, and other districts come to actually see our program. So we're very proud of that. And then when they do graduate after 2 years into the program, they can get a special AP Capstone diploma. And because we do believe that all of our students should be college and career ready, we do give the PSAT suite of assessments. That's the PSAT from 8th grade to 11th grade. And then when we get that data back, we look at the weaknesses, the strengths also, but we look at the weaknesses, and then we tailor programs academically to meet their needs to get them ready for the SAT. We have many academic resources within the district, but teachers, we have to give them the tools so that they're successful in class. So we work with Rice University to train our teachers, and we also work with the curriculum directors in the district, and they too help us with some of our in-house planning and training that we have. With our students, we now have AP exam reviews, again, through Rice University. But we also have them after school, and we do them on Saturdays as well. We added a couple of years ago mock exams, so they do take exams right before the test in May. We started a national merit program. We have SAT classes and boot camps, free prep classes, and many guides that students can check out or work individually if they don't want to work with the teachers. But probably one of the most important things that we have added is called Khan Academy, and this is an online program where students actually will take their PSAT results and they put it into this program. And when they have their accounts, then Khan Academy will structure tests just for them so they can work online at their own pace and at home to improve, to get ready for the SAT test. And it is monitored by teachers, so they can't just say that they did it. So we make sure that they do that. How do we use the data, as I said, through Khan Academy, but we also work with curriculum directors now that embed questions, SAT questions, into the curriculum and also on formatting their classroom tests as well, their assessments. So let's look at some of our gains. When, by the way, 2017 PSAT, all of that data comes out next month, but I will get it to you. But from 2014 to 16, our PSAT 10th grade and 11th grades are increasing, and they're meeting that college-ready benchmark. And what that means is they will be able to go to college and be in the reading and math classes without remediation. And that has increased from 10.6 and 3.7%. And when you look at it, you think, yes, but that's good. When you have to remember, we are testing thousands of students every year. So for us to increase the college readiness, that's quite a feat to do. Our SAT and ACT scores, we were below state level in 2014, but in 2016, and we are at state level now, and we are increasing our testers, as you can see, by 23 and 2.2%. In the AP program, there are 3 things that we look at. Students taking AP exams. We want more and more, as I said, students to be college and career ready. So we have recruited, and we're now at a 92% increase from 2013. We have been giving, we want them to take more exams, and we have increased that by 109%. Qualifying scores, so we want more students, we want them taking more exams, but we want them to also qualify and get the college credit. And we have increased that by 84%. And our AP scholars, and that's students who take at least, make a 3 or better on 3 or more tests, and we've increased that by 148%. Under our department, we also do professional development, and what has really helped is last year we started talking to principals. We have a principal update where we sit down with every school and we look and see what they need for their specific campus, and then we tailor our in-house workshops for what they need on their campus, as I said. And we have now started working in collaboration with Pasadena and Dickinson ISD to bring in AP professionals from across the state and work with our teachers as well. They're the gurus. And then we do have additional testing that's outside of the district. We believe in the whole child, so we have family and community activities. We have a family group called SAGE, supporting Alvin's gifted education. And then we started a group, it is internationally, but it's called the SING, and that is to help our parents of the gifted, to help them understand the social emotional needs of their children. So we have lots of goals for the future, but I'll just concentrate on a couple of them. Of course, we want to continue growing the programs, building the programs that we have. And then we do have an SAT school day testing this year. We'll do it in March, and the reason why we do it is because research shows that they're more comfortable in their environment and they'll do better on the test. And again, we want more access for our children, more children to take the test as well and have that ability. So having it during the day does help that. And the second goal and the last goal kind of go together. One of the things we want to increase our forms of communication and how to get the word out to the community, and especially to parents. I was at a meeting last year and I saw a bus with a PSAT sign. I know, Mr. Dungan, where are you? He's thinking, oh, she's always wanting that transportation. But just think if we could put some of these signs, not on all the buses, but on some of the buses, and we could put that out in the community, and then students from K to 12 will see this, and they're going to start saying, oh, Alvin ISD is really, they do want their kids to be college and career ready. So that's one of the things we want to look at. And in connection with that, we'd like to start a college and career district team and bring in some of the other departments like communications and our HR department and some of the other areas. Because while we need to concentrate on STAR, we need to remember that our students, we want them to be successful whatever they do post-secondary with their education. So that is really a fast flying through advanced academics. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have about any of the programs or...
I do have a question. How many students are enrolled in the Wings Academy?
Right now we have 12, which is, it is the right amount when you look at it. It's less than like 0.01% of your population, so we have 12, and we do expect it to grow. Because we are now getting calls from out of state. People are calling, parents are calling because the word is out about our Wings Academy, so.
That's incredible. So it's 12 students between first and second grade?
That is correct.
And next year it'll be
We'll
first
add
through
third, fourth, and then fifth. That's correct. And our plan right now is to continue the program through 8th grade, and we're looking probably at Rodeo Palms where we have a STEM academy. Because what's going to be important is with those individual students is to continue counseling them academically and social emotionally as well, to support them in any way we can.
So do you continue the Wings through into junior high, or does it transition into STEM when they go to junior high? Does that make sense?
Yes, it would transition into STEM, but we are going to look, since this is the first year as a pilot, and we haven't even had a full semester really, but we are going to look at what is the best next step for these students, but that's kind of what we're thinking right now. But we need some class where they will always be able to be together at some point, if they choose to. You have to remember, when they get to junior high and high school, they spread out and go in different directions, but they have to have some place where we can help them in those 3 areas.
I love it.
How do you help the students socially and emotionally? You follow a curriculum? What do you do for them?
We do, and with the Sing group, there is a whole curriculum with that to help the parents. But we work on it for example, I'll just give an example of one of our students who has a meltdown. In a regular classroom, they don't know how to handle that. And so we've worked so long with them and work with the teachers that they know how to really how to help them. Like the teacher that's in the classroom now with our Wings Academy, she tells them that they're on hold for a call. And so if they are having a meltdown or they want to speak right then, they have to hold her arm and wait. It's like waiting on a call. And then when I'm finished, then you can speak. So it's just simple little things like that we put into place.
Wonderful, thank you.
So next time your husband does that, you tell him to get on hold and just wait. No, I'm kidding.
As Kathy said.
Just hold. An hour later you have to talk to him right now. I'm joking.
So,
any questions?
can I again?
Comments?
I'm sorry.
Of course.
So Ms. Kathy and her staff do such an incredible job of everything that they do. I think that illustration you just gave, even tonight we saw that regardless of how gifted they are, the child is still 6 or 7 years old. And so
Correct.
they have emotional parts of that. And if you watched how they handled that, just sitting here watching that happen, you can't forget that even though they're very gifted children, they are still socially at that same age. And so not just that, but the entirety of the program all the way through, as a parent of a student who's been through some of the AP capstone stuff at the high schools, really incredible programs of stretching their minds. Still to this day have a relationship with his teacher from there. We send each other podcasts through email because those teachers are always looking for ways to help kids, and so Ms. Caffey and her staff do an incredible job. They have a crazy superintendent, keeps bringing them crazier ideas, and they always say yes. And so our goal is to just meet every kid's need as best we can. So I wanted to say my appreciation to all of you guys. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Don't forget to come visit, but you might have to diagram sentences, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so
Kathy,
much.
I do want to say, I do find that the increases in the SAT and scores, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
I know that was an area that we had some great concerns with, so it's very refreshing to see those.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and on that note, if I can add, I'm going to validate what you said or confirm or whatever, correct me if I'm wrong. We're encouraging all of our kids to test, and it's open testing. So those increases, I think, are even more powerful. And I think it's, I want to thank you because I think it's absolutely imperative that we have that approach to getting all of our kids to test. So thank you.
That's what's wonderful about Alvin ISD. So,
and
thank
also
you.
offering it on the school day. That's helped a lot of students because a lot of them have transportation issues on Saturdays. So to be able to get to school and have breakfast at school and be in their normal routine and take it, I think really does minimize so much test anxiety for our students. So that was a smart idea.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone, for the presentations. Next on the agenda is open forum. Marianne, did we, no open forum items? Okay, we will, at this time, adjourn to an closed session under Texas Government Code 551.072 and, or not? Just that. Discussing purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property.
Pat's going to meet us in there.
Okay,
We'll be right back.
really, it'll be quick. We are back in open session at 8:51 PM, and we'll continue on with the agenda. So the consent agenda, are there any items here that any board member would like to pull?
I'd like to pull C.
Pull C, okay. Any others? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve consent agenda items A, B, D, E, F, G, H, and I? I hear a motion by Ms. Winterstrom. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickren. Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor of approving consent agenda items A, B, D, E, F, G, H, and I? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, board.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve consent agenda item C, the request to consider approval of properties in trust?
So moved.
I hear a motion by Ms. Matoyer Peterson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Harris. And do we have some discussion?
I'd like to discuss the second part of the property account, 048600400.0737 acres. And I would like to amend that, saying that that property has to be classified as one, resurveyed and classified as one whole property, not two individual properties.
As a stipulation?
Yes, as a stipulation to the approval of this sale.
So that's it. Is that in the form of an amended motion?
Yes, I want to amend the motion to have this property surveyed as one individual lot.
As a contingency?
As a contingency to the purchase of this lot.
Okay. I have had a request for an amendment to item C, that a stipulation be added that the property be resurveyed as one individual lot as a contingency for purchase. It's been a motion by Mr. Humbert and a second by Ms. Winterstrom. So now we vote or discuss.
Now the discussion.
Now,
on
is
that,
there any
please.
discussion on that? On the amended item?
And this is a specific account number you're speaking about, right?
Yes. 0486-004-000.
Thank you.
Any discussion regarding that? Okay. With a first and a second, all in favor of amending consent agenda item C, the request to consider approval of properties in trust with the stipulation to resurvey this property as one individual lot as a contingency for purchase. All in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Does the other amendment then automatically fail? So we're done?
Well, he actually,
I mean, the
he
other.
actually amended the motion, so
The other one,
there's
okay.
no other motion on the table at this point.
Okay, we're good. All right, moving on in the agenda. Item number 9, the request to consider approval of the financial audit report that was presented.
Board, as you heard earlier, the presentation of the audit, at this point, it is our recommendation that we accept that audit as presented.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the 2016-2017 financial audit as presented?
So moved.
I hear a motion by Ms. Scheibel. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Humbert. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the 2016-17 financial audit as presented? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, next is a request to consider approval of district campus performance objectives.
It's that time of year again, Board, where at this time, as part of the district improvement plan, we'll be asking you to accept the 17-18 goals and performance objectives for the district and for individual campuses.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to, for approval of the district campus performance objectives?
So moved.
A motion by Ms. Harris. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Wennerstrom. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the district campus performance objectives? Motion passes 7-0. Next on the agenda is a request to consider the approval of changes to the EIC local policy.
Board, you have in there a list of changes that, if you remember, don't take effect until the next year's entering 6th grade class. So it will not actually come into effect until the graduating class of 2025, but this aligns our policy to practice and cleans up some of the policy language that has been there that needed to be impacted. So our recommendation is to accept the policy as presented.
Do I hear a motion to approve and accept the policy changes to EIC local?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Metoyer-Peterson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Scheibel. Is there any discussion regarding the matter? None. All in favor of approving the changes to policy EIC local? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
And next is a request to consider approval of the Citizens Advisory Committee regarding goals, changes, and parameters.
So after Mr. Templeton's presentation just a few minutes ago, it's that time of year where we need to assemble a list of citizens to serve on a Citizens Advisory Committee to study and evaluate our student enrollment trends and projections and then look at our facilities. And so this committee is going to be like other committees named by you and other people in the district, and ask them to initiate the work and then get the committee started at the beginning of the calendar year in January.
Is there a motion to approve the Citizens Advisory Committee goals, changes, and parameters?
So moved.
I hear a motion by Ms. Pickering. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Harris. And is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the Citizens Advisory Committee goals, charges, and parameters? Motion passed 7-0. I said changes before, sorry.
No.
Is that okay? Okay. Next on the agenda is a request to consider approval of votes for Brazoria County Appraisal District Board of Directors election 2018-2019.
Board, it's our time again to elect a representative on that appraisal district board. In the past, the most recent election, we've nominated and elected Mr. King for that. It is our recommendation that we now, at this point, after we've nominated him, I guess a month ago, right? We nominated him last month. And so now it's time to cast those 823 votes for Mr. King to represent us on that Brazoria County Appraisal District.
Is there a motion for the Board of Trustees to cast 823 votes for Mr. Tommy King to represent Alvin ISD on the Brazoria County Appraisal District Board of Directors for 2018-2019? Motion by Mr. Humbert. Is there a second? Second. Second by Ms. Scheibel. And is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor of approving the cast of 823 votes for Tommy King to represent Alvin ISD on the Brazoria County Appraisal District Board for 2018-2019. Motion passes 7-0.
It's my understanding that Friendswood ISD is going to cast their one Brazoria County vote tonight for Mr. King as well. So.
Yay. Okay. Next on the agenda, item number 14, the request to consider approval of a resolution authorizing boundary adjustment for Alvin Independent School District and Pearland Independent School District in the area known as Massey Ranch.
Board, as you know, this area is actually contiguous to us, and originally prior to 1996 was part of our school district. It was transferred out at that time to Pearland. For the reason that the family that resided there was actually a family that attended Pearland schools at the time. There was, in 1996, Pearland was in the same point that we are with transfers and people being, not allowed to transfer in and out. So that adjustment was made. At this point, there is a development that the majority of that development falls within Alvin ISD. And so the recommendation is that we then transfer that back to us, and it supports that future neighborhood school concept, and it eliminates any domain confusion if it's all in one school district.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion for the board to give consideration and possible approval of the resolution authorizing an adjustment of the boundaries of Alvin Independent School District and Pearland Independent, oh my goodness, and I live there, and Pearland Independent School District in the area known as Massey Ranch, located near Harkey Road and McKeever?
So moved.
I hear a motion by Ms. Harris. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Wennerstrom. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor of the board giving consideration and possible approval of the resolution authorizing an adjustment to the boundaries of Alvin Independent School District and Pearland Independent School District in the area known as Massey Ranch? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, board.
Okay. Next is a request to consider the award of contract for construction of Bell Nefgar Sanchez Elementary.
So it's time for us to talk about building elementary 19 at this point. And so that Sanchez Elementary School will be on a site that we owned already there in Sterling Lakes in that subdivision. I do want to commend Jeff Cuvion and Pat Miller's group of bringing in a proposal of $17,572,300, right at $170 a square foot, which is phenomenal. And those guys do an incredible job of working with our contractors. And so Brookstone Construction is who we are recommending to award the contract.
Is there a motion to approve Brookstone Construction as the general contractor for construction of Bell Nefgar Sanchez Elementary School number 20 and authorize the superintendent or his designee to review and execute the final negotiated construction contract not to exceed $17,572,300?
So moved.
I hear a motion by Ms. Pickering. Is there a second? A second by Ms. Wennerstrom. Is there any discussion?
Where are they out of? Brookstone, they are up on the north side of Houston. And they're up on the north side of Houston. And they've been in the industry here in the Houston area since the 70s and have done quite a number of schools well as other commercial, retail, church, public work. We've been interested in them continuing for our work for some time. So,
Mr. Jeremy Stovall is here with us tonight, principal with Brookstone. Present for us.
Any
Have
other?
we ever worked with them before?
no, they have not done work here in Alvin ISD.
They've built other schools in other districts.
Yes.
Any other questions from the board? Okay. All in favor of approving Brookstone Construction as the general contractor for construction of Bell Nefgar Sanchez Elementary School number 20, and authorize the superintendent or his designee to review and execute the final negotiated construction contract not to exceed $17,572,300. Motion passes 7-0.
What are you still doing here?
I could turn it over.
We gotta get to work.
That's right.
Next on the agenda is a request to consider personnel items.
Board, you have in your packet a list of personnel there. As you know, we are growing and adding people every day, so we have 2 names to bring to you tonight for your acceptance under our recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a motion for approval to be granted for the requested personnel items as presented?
So moved.
A motion by Ms. Harris. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickren. Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor of for approval to be granted for the requested personnel items as presented? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
We have a request for an administrative staffing position, the principal at Dr. Ronald E. McNair Junior High.
So as we begin to near completion of junior high number 7, McNair Junior High, it's time for us to post the job of principal and start interviewing so we can get that person on board early in the spring to begin preparing to open that campus. So our recommendation is that we approve this position of principal at McNair Junior High School.
Do I hear a motion for approval to be granted for the staffing request of the principal at McNair Junior High School as submitted? A motion by Mr. Humbert. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Matoyer-Peterson. And is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor for approval to be granted for the staffing request of principal at Dr. Ronald E. McNair Junior High School as submitted? Motion passes 7-0. Turn the time over to our superintendent.
So I have just a few things to talk about tonight. One of those being the Brothers Elementary dedication. What a great night that was. Over 600 people there to honor Shirley and the school named in her honor. And so I thought it was a unique bringing together of all sides of our district, and lots of history, but then also lots of new, and especially with the student performances, some of them were outstanding. So it was a great night. Oh, Brazoria County Fair and Alvin ISD are our show. I want to tell you that we were, at Brazoria County, we were 1/4 of the art auction this year from Alvin ISD. And we were almost a half of the animal auction out of the entire county, to the tune of about $100,000 plus for our kids at the county show. And then I haven't seen the numbers from the Alvin ISD show, but I know that the students did well there. I want to take a moment to also speak out to the fact that we had a lot of our people that do business with us on the construction side, and people that vendors that work with our maintenance and operations staff. that we spend money with, our architects that showed up at Enforce and helped our kids out. So I thought that was a nice way for that to be returned to our kids from those people.
During the World Series game.
During a World Series game, that's correct. Absolutely, absolutely. Hassie's Helping Hands is a well-known group of men and women. If you can see that picture there, and they're led by Georgine Elliott, who retired last year. And if y'all know Georgine, when I knew the day she said she was going to retire that she wasn't going to stop doing anything. And so if you get a chance to go by Hassie and see them, I highly recommend it. Those guys, when they have their aprons on and their scissors to open the ketchup packets, and they're opening milk cartons, and they help a few days a week there in the cafeteria, and just a great way for our kids to see great role models and for these guys to continue to stay involved in our school district. We actually, our HR department had a chance to visit our 3 high schools' Ready, Set, Teach programs. They talked about the reasons why you go into teaching. And then I know they had spent several hours with them. Is Kim here? I don't see her. No, but Kim spent several hours talking about social media with them, and that social media is permanent, doesn't go away. And so they also, if they met our qualifications, they're offered a letter of intent for those that do complete that class, then go on and get their certification and come back as a teacher for us in our district. On the Veterans Day Celebration Day, which was actually the 10th, we had several celebrations around the district. And as you can see, there were a lot of things that went on. I actually went that day to Alvin Junior High for theirs. You know Christian that works in Congressman Olson's office. I had no idea that he was a lieutenant. That's him, yes, and in special services. And so anyway, he gave a great speech that day to our students using the acronym of Alvin Junior High, and I thought he did a great job, and it was a great opportunity to honor our veterans around the district. Food and Toy Drive kicked off on October the 30th. Alvin ISD and Alvin Community College do this together every year. If you non-perishable food items and new unwrapped toys, and plenty of places to drop those off if you feel so inclined to take part in that. Daniel, when is Breakfast with Santa? Do we know?
When it will be the week after we get back from
December 2nd.
December 2nd.
That's the Saturday you were talking about.
Saturday.
That's
I will see y'all there.
So the last thing I have is that Thanksgiving break is November 20th through 24th. Apparently, the Saturday that we get out, Daniel has a meeting for us that day, so we can't start our break till after that. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Do any board members have any items for future agendas? Okay. And then is there a motion for adjournment? I hear a motion by Mr. Humbert, and is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Scheibel. All in favor of adjournment? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
See y'all tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow night.
Tomorrow at 6:30.
6:30.